Hey, all, welcome in again to another edition of S2S Colorado Live. I'm your host, as always, Manny. We have the homie Money in the studio, making to make sure that we sound good, look good, and feel good. So again, shout out to Money. Please make sure to follow me on X at Manny_303 and Instagram at 303 underscore Manny. Make sure we also have the buff line 970-614-5771. Make sure and as well, we also we always have our podcast wherever it is that you get your daily podcast at Spotify, Apple, our Heart Radio, Amazon, wherever it is. You can find us there as well. And any contributions, again, this is not a you don't have to, but it would be much appreciated. Venmo at Manny S2S. But again, thank you all for being with us. Without you, we have no show. And as always, I do appreciate every single one of you. Today's show, we have a lot to unpack from Saturday's victory. We have our Ralphie report. I'm going to be handing out some game balls, and then 3 is the QB battle. So heading into week 3 on a short week, we still do not have answers. So we're going to dive into that. My take on it, I guess I should say, I'm a little more, what's the right word? Step back a little bit from where I was on the post game show. Rewatched the game to an extent today, from the TV broadcast. So just a couple different things that I've noticed. So let's dive into the Ralphie report. So first one, kickoff time for September 20th. This has been announced. So against Wyoming, this will be a 8:15 local time kickoff. Those of us who were there last season and these 8:15s took place, holy cow, they are they're difficult. They're difficult. It's a long night, but 8:15 kickoff, and the following week will be an 8:15 kickoff as well versus BYU. So these are long nights. I know for us, just my wife and I going, we get home about 1 or 2 in the morning when with these games because again they're nationally televised. Tons of commercials. So what is this? Your Big 12 after dark now. But again, these are tough games to go to. So just something to check. So wherever it is that you're tuning in from, that watch Colorado, again, that's at 8:15 Mountain Time. So that'd be 10:15 Eastern Time. So make sure that you guys have your clock set for that one. Make sure that you get some rest during the day. You're probably going to need a nap for that one. Let's see. We have Chad. Oh, our friend Chad. Yeah. Oh, he was up. You going to do a post game that late? I don't know. We might have to put it for the next day. And if I do, it'll probably be from the car on the way home. Those are tough. And then we'll talk a little bit too about the pre and post game as well. I feel the post games are more necessary. The Friday games, I should say, or sorry, the pre-game shows are kind of just, I don't want to say repeat, but I think we kind of go over that as the game approaches or the day before. So again, we'll see what that looks like, but I would say we'll probably get one the next day or from the car on the way home. Next thing in the Ralphie report, Makari Vickers. I don't know if you guys saw him, number 10. He was out there. He played fantastic. Again, this is a 4-star recruit when he came out. He transferred in from Oklahoma, was a 3-star in the portal. Again, I do not know why teams do that when there's these scouting companies, ranking companies do that. He was a 3-star in the portal. Really didn't see any burn at Oklahoma. But he was out there. Prime said we put the other cornerbacks on alert that this kid is coming to play. So again, I would expect him at some point. It feels like he's going to get more burn. I don't know if he takes that position or not, but this is a super talented young man. Went out there and played well. And one of the coolest, I don't want to say cool, heartwarming stories. And again, no pun intended here, but he had a heart surgery and is now making an impact for the Buffs. This is fantastic. Just someone to keep an eye on moving forward. One of my players when we signed him over in the winter portal into the season portal last year in December. I was really excited about that. So keep an eye on him moving forward. Let's see how much more burn he gets at the other outside position opposite of DJ. but he had a fantastic game. So let's jump into some game balls. Right, where do we start with Ryan Staub? I mean, holy cow, 7 for 10 for 157 yards, 70% completion percentage, 2 TDs, and a 98.9 QBR. I mean, it was much more than that. I know that those are some pretty good numbers, right? And when we talk about it, it was much more. Those of us that were there in Folsom, he comes out, we're sitting there, and I'm like, oh, this is not good. We're down to the third string quarterback, right? And it was felt very dire at that point. It was kind of like we were embracing. Everybody around us knew that it was, man, maybe this is one of those seasons that's a rebuild, right? One of those words that we do not like to hear. Within, I don't know, right? They ran it. What was it? First down. I don't remember how it was, but DeKalen breaks a big run there. I think it was third down, actually. DeKalen breaks a big run. Then we have him, the next one layers it over to Joseph Williams, I believe it was. Maybe that was for like about 30 yards or so. He then comes. They come down. They run they start dropping their linebackers. Two backers come, and then they drop the rest of their DBs. They just start gaining a crazy amount of depth. DeKalen comes out the backyard and just, essentially it's walking. He's not even touched. So at that point, we were all kind of like, man, okay. Like maybe we're working with something, right? They come out of halftime again, looks rough. Third down play, takes a deep shot there to Sincere Brown, hits him for 71 yards. The place is erupting. Everyone's going crazy at that point. I was not expecting that at first. We were actually walking back from the field house, and I thought it was Julian Lewis. He threw it at first, but it was, it was Ryan Staub. So Staub, man, you balled out for sure. It almost feels like we have something else to talk about, whether you agree with it or not, whether I agreed with it or not in the moment. Just really proud of that young man. So Staub, great job. He gets a S2S game ball. But very proud of the way you played on. You made the Buffs Nation very proud. So he's our offensive player, right? Next one would be Keaton Wade. 1 sack and 2 TFL, so tackles for losses, right? Let me go down to this. Yeah. This is his deep ball was on point. Absolutely, like I was. That was fantastic. So I'm thrilled with that. Yeah, Staub brings the energy, but he also brings the pick sixes. Yeah, we'll see. We will see. I'm going to dive into that here once we get, through a couple of the things, but just some things that I noticed going through, watching some film, what Staub brings, but it was a much needed change of pace there. So, but Keaton Wade, 1 sack, two TFLs, that dude is everywhere. And this is a player at the end of last season that I was really excited for. I know that his older brother, Destin Wade, transferred. I thought Keaton Wade was going to hit the portal as well. So really glad he didn't. Glad he's still with the Buffs. This is a man that, a young man that I am just excited to see how he develops the rest of the season. Again, one that's going to be play a pivotal role on this defense moving forward for Colorado. Next step again is this Friday at Houston. Third one, so the special teams, Damon Greaves, right? He had 2 inside the 20 and a long of 67. This dude is kicking, killing the ball, kicking it. He's pinning teams deep, right? Like as of right now, I can't think of a better punter in the country right now. He's averaging 47.6 yards per punt. He is just having a phenomenal year so far through 2 games. This was just much needed, right? The special teams in general, right? We have Buck Buchanan. He's booting it out the back of the end zone, giving the teams aren't getting any returns off, right? That was kind of a place where the Buffs struggled in these last couple of years. So now it's almost like we don't have to worry about it. So where's Sam Okunloa? He was hurt. He did not even dress out last week. We'll see what happens with the injury report, more press conferences. Buffs from my knowledge, didn't hold one that was public. I was kind of sitting there all day on Buffs TV trying to figure it out. Didn't see anything, so we'll continue monitoring that situation. One that I'm looking at, right, Sam Okunloa for sure, and then our other guy, Marion Miller and Dallin Hayden. So those are the three that we need to keep an eye on as the week goes. We are now entering Big 12 play on the road. First game, going to a hostile, and again, I don't want to call it a hostile environment, but that's every week where the Buffs go. It doesn't matter. We get every team's a game. So we're going to take their shots every week. There's that extra motivation. I expect Houston, the University of Houston, to be sold out. That crowd's going to be rocking. That crowd's going to be loud. But those three are needed. And then one I want to do, so there's going to be an offense player of the week, defense player of the week, special teams player of the week, and one that I really like to do is the freshman of the week. So this week, London Merritt, number 44. I don't know if you guys saw him. Even those from the stadium, I saw him a couple times. Like, oh, there's London Merritt. He's one that I was pumped when we signed. It was on Nightcap? Thanksgiving evening? One that I was pumped. I told my wife about it. Like, I was thrilled, so thrilled when we got him. So he had 4 QB pressures on only 18 snaps. At this rate, that dude has earned more snaps. This is not the end of London Merritt. We're going to be talking about him more and more as the season goes on. And he's going to be one that those sacks are going to start coming in bunches, right? It takes a minute. You start going. He's going to start racking them up sooner rather than later. And once they come, they start coming in bunches. So I'm really excited for what London Merritt has moving forward. So again, great job to those 4 guys. Again, Ryan Staub, offensive player of the week, game ball for Keaton Wade for the defensive player of the week. Damon Greaves, the punter, special teams player of the week, and our freshman of the week gets a game ball, and that is London Merritt. So just a fantastic games by all 4 of those young men. So what I want to do, let's jump into some QB talk, right? So QB battle, and again, just to put a real quick, I guess we'll do this as we go through the QB battle to put a bow tie on what we saw versus Delaware. They did. They did. I like that, Darren Jennings. Delaware had a lot of transfers that came from Power 4 conferences on defense. Yeah, what was it? Our friend that we had, Bryce, was telling us about one of their DNs. I believe, was it from Kentucky or Tennessee? One of them, but I did see him. He popped off quite a bit live in person. They were a lot better than I was expecting. They played their hearts out. They played hard all game. They were right. I thought we were going in a half 10-7 at that point. I was like, holy cow, they better not lose to Delaware. This is going to be a long season. And regardless, I was kind of at a point where this is going to be a long season, right? Something clicked at halftime. And again, right, it was Ryan Staub came in and all that energy came with them. They were in the game the entire time. They were. Buffs made some key turnovers, some key stops, but you think if there wasn't that play made at the end of the game, maybe mid-third quarter where they stripped on the big pass play. I think that was Ben that went in there, caught him from behind, swiped it, ball came out, and they recovered it. Like, that was a game-altering turnover right there, game-altering play. So, Delaware gave Colorado punched him in the mouth. I mean, it was that simple. We came out 10-0, but it was not an easy 10-0. So, congrats to them. Tip your hat to them. They were prepared. They were ready to roll, man. They played with tons of energy. So, QB battle. Let's dive into this. Ryan Staub, right? I mean, this game ends with him. This is the talk of the town, the talk of the state, talk of Buffs Nation right now. And this is one. I was upset. I was upset. Those of you who tuned into the post game, gosh, I was like, what are we doing? This is not going to go well. This has felt like a lost season, right? And again, this was not perfect. This was far from it. And again, we're not asking for perfect right now. The Buffs need to hit their stride this week. I mean, they got to start turning it around. They have to start playing with some urgency. They have to start, and that goes from the top to bottom. But walk away from the ledge this yesterday, and again, watch some film yesterday as well as today, parts of the game, and it was there's a lot to be there's a lot of good things that took place in this game. So, just let's start with this. Staub, he looked great. The ball was coming. The ball was, coming out of his hands. Like that thing was flying off his hand. He looked like he was back there with a rocket launcher. And again, he is no slouch. This dude played in Southern California. Top of the in Southern California, one of the 3-star recruits. He was offered by Arizona. Texas was also interested when he was coming out. Ryan Staub, man, it was unexpected. And again, something that, I guess is fans, right? They came out and said afterward that this was part of the plan. That Staub was informed that he would be playing the day before the game. But us sitting in the stands, it looked like, holy cow, they don't know where to turn at this point. So, I heard he's a buff longer than most. So he actually came in with Dion, but it was not Prime who offered him. It was, Carl Dural's staff that offered him. He decided to come in anyway. So this is one Prime wanted to keep. He's one that earned every single bit of what he has earned. His number was called and he showed out and balled out. Like it is, this is one of those moments where you're, right? You take that opportunity, you run with it. All you need is an opportunity. So this was Ryan Staub. We'll talk about that, but he let it rip and it showed. He was letting that thing fly. He was not afraid to fling it. He was layering the ball, layered it over right to Joseph Williams there before the half. This was unexpected, right? The QB move was chess. Coach used this game as a preseason game. Yeah. And, after that, though, Darren, I do agree with you, man. He did use it as chess, use it as a preseason game, right? And we'll talk what my predictions are, what I think they should do versus what I think is going to happen. But I'm so impressed with Ryan Staub as the more and more we move away from that game. And I'll explain that. I'll explain that a little bit later. But I do want to talk about Caden. So Caden led 2 scoring drives. The first 2 drives was 13 for 16 for 102 yards, and had a rushing TD. So this is total for the game. Right, that run was fantastic. It was awesome. He does miss a lot of wide open wide receivers, though. Right, when you go back and watch it. I seen a couple posts on Twitter today and X and all kinds of social media platforms, outlets. He does miss open wide receivers. There was, the first one that I could think of was, I believe, let's just leave it at that. I'll dive into a deeper game dive here in a second. He does seem unsure of his reads. He seems like he is second guessing everything he does. And a lot of it, he's not audibling. And again, we'll talk more about that with what Ryan Staub did. Those of you who listened to the post-game press conferences, there's a lot said there that is by Ryan Staub that is, man, great job. And also like why does he even have to do that? So again, we'll dive into that. Julian, right? Our guy, Julian, led a scoring drive for 3. He was 2 for 8 for 8 yards. One of those throws, man, that was off his back foot, let it fly to Quentin Gibson, or threw it out there, and man, 11 yards off his back foot. And again, a lot of people seeing that are kind of probably not very impressed with that, but that was all arm strength. Like Julian Lewis there's not a lot of people that can do that with a defensive lineman breathing down your throat. So that was a very, very, very impressive throw. A couple of the other times that, the O-line didn't hold up, and there was a drop for Juju. And again, this was Quanell. He drops a pass, but again, this is a true freshman. We can't get on him about that. He does need to make that, right, obviously. And maybe Quanell scores there. I mean, Quanell's electric with the ball. So that'll get itself ironed out. It'll get itself, figured out a little bit in time. Let's see. I did see today, and yesterday, and it was kind of one that I had to think about more, even after the game. I was talking to my wife a little about it, but it was people saying Prime is doing the same thing to Julian as the Browns are doing to Shador. I mean, at first, maybe, right, because we were upset a little bit yesterday, and then watching it over again, it makes sense why he's going in with the personnel, receivers that he's going in. This is the one he has the chemistry with. This is the one, for the most part, he has been playing a lot with, right? You see Quanell out there. You see Q for 6 out there, right? Like, this is what it is. I mean, these are the ones he has been practicing with, playing with the most. And I'm just, I guess what I say to that is, come on, really, like Prime's not going to do that to Julian Lewis. This is the future of the program. And what was pretty apparent is he needs more time. Needs more time to develop. And again, that's only going to come with game experience. And I like where he is at. He should have got a little bit more burn, but again, it is what it is. You don't want to put him in harm's way either. So so there's that. Just kind of a real quick recap on the 3 QBs that I guess all 3 QBs that they got burned, got some PT on Friday. So yeah, I don't think it's the same as the Browns, but I do wonder if any of these concerns with Caden that took the fans about a game to see were obvious prior to the season start. Yeah, that's been one of my biggest things is the missing receivers, the second guessing, the not wanting to audible. There was even a QB read that he did not read correctly. So and that's supposed to be his go-to, right? That's how he makes his money. So we're going to dive into that. So here's what I think the Buffs do, though. I do think we will see Staub start this Friday at Houston. So today, I think it was via well-off. Staub was taking first team reps today, and rightfully earned, rightfully so. That young man came in and saved the day, balled out again. As we got further away from the game, part of me was, I wonder if he got the full game. And then we start doing that thing. What if Staub played against Georgia Tech, right? Like, would this have been a different outcome, right? Because there was a lot of throws that Caden missed or didn't want to make because he didn't think he could. I mean, Staub's fearless, right? Like, we saw that, like that ball he layered over to Joseph Williams there. Man, that was a perfect throw. Like, and it had to be a perfect throw there to layer that in there and drop it right over the linebacker and in between the linebacker and safeties right there to Joseph Williams running I won't call it a dig. It was more like a post/dig that he ran, but that was man, that's big time. That is a big time throw right there. So I think Staub's going to play. He's going to get the start, and rightfully so, rightfully earned. Even if you've seen in the locker room after the videos, man, that whole team was hyped for him. Everybody was happy for him. I know a lot of people were talking about, oh, you just lost the locker room. It looks like this is kind of what the locker room wanted. So, I'm excited for Staub. So, the further again we got away from the game, the more I got to grasp and watch what it is that Staub was doing. Man, that was a whole different dude. So you could, my guys Julian, but I'm Team Staub right now. Not that it's one versus the other, but man, I hope that kid has a fantastic season, fantastic game Friday, and I hope we don't have to have this conversation about who should be the starter moving forward. It just makes it a lot, right? We know we're set at this point. Like, everybody's set at this point. These things have to start falling into place. This can't go on. 2 games is, if we're doing this next week with 3 quarterbacks, like, I don't know what to say at this point. Yeah, it's kind of like an underdog story. Everyone loves a good underdog. Yeah, everybody does. And hopefully this has a happy ending to it, unlike just kind of a short-lived, everybody's excited, those kind of things. But I mean, that arm talent was there. On Saturday afternoon. So now I do think, so whether y'all like this or not, I do think Caden is going to get some reps though with Staub come Friday night. And the reason I say that was he did not play bad, right? He put 2 scoring drives together. I don't think he touched the field again until the third, maybe late third quarter, if I remember correctly. Maybe it was even early fourth, but I do think though it is super hard to get into a rhythm when you don't have consecutive drive after consecutive drive. So again, this has to get figured out sooner rather than later. And again, I do think it will be. I do think we have now seen a quarterback pull ahead that we didn't even think about. But again, Caden, he has some things to work on. Again, I'm almost curious now. I want to go do a deep dive into Liberty's last season, Liberty with Caden. And again, not that it does anything or not. I'm not a coach. I'm not one of those that is, again, what Prime saw and that recruiting staff saw. It's what they saw, and that's what they decided to roll with, which is fine with me. Trust them. They know a lot more than I ever will. So, but now let's see. I don't think we're going to see Julian this weekend. There was a quote that came out. I don't know if you guys watched the. It is the, what is it called? The coach CBS Colorado's coaches Prime playbook. Uh, what Prime said about Julian. So he said, first of all, I got to protect this kid. And he's absolutely correct there. He is absolutely correct there. So he went on to say, this kid is 17 years darn old. I got to really make sure he's successful. You can't throw him out there, and the next thing you know, you guys out there watching are eating him alive on social media. He's never been through that. I got to make sure I protect this kid, as well as make sure he's ready to go out there and do what he's capable of doing. And yeah, Prime's right there. He's absolutely correct there. This kind of, I think, should and I can even say, including myself, maybe the plan, right, is to bring Julian Lewis regardless slow this season. And again, that is what it looks like. That is what it sounds like. And there's nothing else to say that proves otherwise. So or see. So this is what I think you're going to see moving forward. I don't think we see Julian Lewis play unless we get a some type of injury to Staub or Salter. And I would say more likely to Staub. Right? Because I think if Salter, and again, I'm not hoping this at all, something has to go wrong for Julian to play this weekend. As much as he's the future, as much as he is the most talented player on the roster. I mean, I guess there's Jordan Seaton still, but one of the most talented players in the roster, one of the most talented freshmen in the country. I just don't think we're going to see him this weekend. And again, I'm all for it though. We see Julian. I'm excited. He's one that I am, man, I cannot wait to get that kid, but we do have to be patient with him, like Coach Prime said. So again, I would say Staub gets the majority of snaps. Caden will come in as well. I do think we see both guys. So we'll see. But I think if the game, I guess it kind of just depends, right? The ebbs and flows of the game, how it goes. But I do think the majority of the snaps are going to be for Staub, maybe like 80%, 90%. So we'll see how this goes. We'll see how it goes this weekend. Now, what do I think they should do, right? This is tough because there's that whole thing. You want to win games today. You want to win them today, but you also have to build for the future, right? That's always the case in, the NFL with your college team, right? And especially one that's still building, right? This is nowhere near a finished product for Colorado. This is still a rebuilding process that is going on. Colorado, again, they're still probably a year or so away, maybe a year or two away, 2 years at the most. I say 3 years at the most, but it's probably 2 years away from actually getting the team that Coach Prime envisioned, that the staff envisioned, from actually getting their guys, because typically it takes 4 years to get your guys in there. And again, I know it's different with the transfer portal, but to get these kids, these players, kids, student athletes, to get them where you want them to be, I guess, if that makes sense, developed, knowing the system, all the different nuances of the program, you're still about 2 years away from being where Coach Prime probably envisions it. So, again, like I said, Staub looked great. But one thing that stood out for me from the press conference, he was asked about those plays to Sincere Brown, and what he said was those plays, and he's talking about Sincere here. He wasn't supposed to run a go, and I told him run a go on both of those. So if they press Sincere, if they press coverage him, it's going up. Man, that sounds awfully familiar. When we used to watch Shador, those are the same things he would use, and he was sitting behind Shador for 2 years, right? Shador's 2 years there, he was behind him watching the whole interaction. Now, what this does say though is, right, they're supposed to, and again, I've seen a bunch of routes, bunch of route concepts that they're running, and holy cow, Pat Shermer, like there has to be some more creativity here. When your players are just switching the play and not even the whole play, just saying go run a go, right? Like Shador used to do, right? He told Will Shepherd that. I think it was against Tech last year, or was it? No, it was Arizona. Arizona last year. He said, "Can you run it? Can you run a go?" And he's like, "Go get it," and it was kind of the same thing. Like, no, we're not doing that. So that brings up, I'm happy, so happy that Staub was able to see that and roll with that. But at the same time, man, you gotta, this has to be seen by Pat Shermer. Like, you cannot continue with these play calling. There was this really cool, what was it? Asante Samuel, former defensive back, got into it with Prime. I think it was last year about some kind of coverage, whatever it is, right? But Asante Samuel was like, look, you are running old bubble routes. One of them I saw right when I think it was Caden threw it. Somebody said, well, this was a fake bubble route. No, it wasn't. It was just I don't know what that was, but that was a broken play. The Delaware's corners are biting on those things. They know exactly what's coming. And again, like I'm telling you, those are cool to run once in a while, but it's every single drive, right? You have a drive starter that's supposed to get you a couple yards. They lose yards and now they're in a hole, right? 2nd and 13, 2nd and 14 at this point. Now everyone knows you're going to pass it. So stop calling those horizontal plays aren't working, or get better screen plays to call, bubble screens, tunnel screens. Those should just be thrown out at this point, in my opinion. Everything should be forward. Everything should be forward, moving forward. Was Salter better than Ponder? You're talking about in camp, summer camp, and I guess if that's what you are, they said Ponder looked good. I didn't get to see a ton of Ponder. Again, a lot of those practices are closed. Wish I would have been there, able to watch them, obviously, but I would. I don't know. And this is kind of a conversation that I've been having today. My wife asked, right? She loves CU football, alum from there. And this is a passion we get to share with each other, Colorado football. But she was asking, like how was it this obvious? I said it probably had to be that Salter was struggling to this extent. Like, he is missing receivers. He is leaving so many big plays. There was even another play down the field. Earlier I think it was the second when they kicked. So when they kicked the field, he had a first down. Like, he should have ran for it, and then he throws a very inaccurate pass again on the run. Just run the football there, man. Like, you're one of the best athletes. So again, I personally, and I guess let's jump in. Let's say, bro, how can Staub be the QB3 when clearly he's the best QB for Colorado? What was Coach Prime thinking? Seriously, and plus Staub was in the program for 3 years. What kind of? Yeah, I don't know. They don't know what they're doing. I don't know a lot about that. Maybe it was one of those things that they thought they had to go get your 4-star quarterback, Caden Salter. And again, there was Salter had a rough year last year. I don't know, and again, I wish I had those answers for you all. I wish I had those answers for myself. I don't know, but it probably did show up during camp. But again, there's a lot to think about when making a move like that, right? You get a 4-star or 5-star where we know the Buffs kill it in the portal, right? That's where they hammer it. That's where they get their players. And they say, well, they got Caden Salter here, big time quarterback recruit. And they ended up, he didn't even make it out of camp as one of the, as a starter, even second string guy. So again, I don't know, but my guess is that this did show up a lot during camp. So none of this should be new. Darren Jennings, again, if you can stretch a defense vertically, the run game flourishes. Yeah. And again, right, and the opposite holds true as well, right? You start running stretch, right? It's those outside zone plays. So, right, you run stretch, QB stretch, and then you hit him over the top. I don't know. It is, again, I don't want to call that job as an offense coordinator or play calling basic, but I do not want that job. Never would. But again, it does make you wonder, though, what's really going on here, right? Yeah, Gennaro. Yeah, long time. I think I seen you on the pre or post game, but yeah, it's been a while. But we wanted to blame everything on the OC. However, please explain how Salter average rushing yards went from 3.3 to 2.8. Yeah, there is that too, and there's that QB read where read option right there, and he kept it right. At some point, it does fall on Salter, right? It does fall on the execution of plays. And again, it is not to. I hope nothing but the best for Caden Salter. I hope he turns it around for his, for him personally, and then as a fan, like he struggles, we struggle when he's in there, right? And again, the worst thing to have is a QB controversy at any level. Nobody benefits from it. At the end of the day, nobody does. So I hope he does figure it out. But again, some of these things too are on him, right? There are missed throws. There are so many chunk plays left on the field. If you all go watch that play, someone said, well, he didn't have time to let it fly to Quentin Gibson. Yeah, he did. Yes, he did. So that was a huge play. That's a touchdown. Just go throw that thing up and let Q run underneath it. Like it was that simple. There's just too many big plays left on the field. So we'll see. Like I said, he missed wide receivers, streaking down the field, a wide receiver sitting in the zone. Right when Delaware dropped, he's sitting literally in the middle of the zone. How you're supposed to do against the zone defense to catch a touchdown. I believe it was Hakeem Williams. I'm not sure. I thought I saw 5 there. I'm not sure though. But didn't hit him. Didn't hit him at that point. And then again, throws an inaccurate pass versus running for the first. Something, in my opinion, he has played himself out of playing time, in my opinion, until some things can get ironed out here. Again, I hope nothing but the best for Caden Salter. I hope that he does get it figured out because that kid is an extremely phenomenal talent. Everything he brings, he has a cannon. He can run. He is fast. More times than not, he's the best athlete on the field. So I do hope he gets it figured out. But as of right now, I do not think that I think he should be the odd man out. Let me see. Let's see. Did I miss it? I didn't see much wow from the O-line like I saw against Georgia Tech. Yeah, it felt like that they were a little bit running. They weren't doing as well against Delaware. I mean, that's what I saw. Michael Welch had a rough game. I know the other Simeon Price and DeKalen had a big game. And now another point, right? DeKalen Taylor is that the starter moving forward? That dude that dude can ball. So talk about an opportunity. So we'll see what they do there moving forward. But again, another place, right? DeKalen, man, track hockey, he's played his way into possibly the starter at this point, right? That's 2 good games in a row from that running back position. So, but the line just didn't seem as physical, didn't seem as good as well against Delaware as they did against Georgia Tech, or effective is probably the better word there. Now, Julian, we don't have a full picture of Julian and what he is capable of doing. And again, it's part of this process, part of this learning curve that he is going to have to go through. Now, Julian is a fantastic talent. He is if Colorado is going to do something and this coach Primera is going to, right, and again, this sounds crazy to say, but a national championship, he's the person that's going to have to get the buff to the promised land at that point. Like he is such a good player. He's done it at the highest level. And I'm just, I'm thrilled for the future. Like I said, I do think Caden's the odd man out. I do think the development of Julian Lewis should not stop. And again, they do have to be careful when they decide to put him in, when they decide not to. I do agree with Coach Prime here saying that you have to protect this kid, right? Protect him at all costs. This is the future of the program. So I do think he should get some more playing time. Right. And again, I don't think 50-50 is right. I think let him play kind of like he did last week, and again, don't put him in harm's way, though. If your offensive line is getting eaten alive, do not play Julian Lewis. It's just going to cause more issues, happy feet, right? We'll do the Sam Darnold thing, start seeing some ghosts. We do not want that for that young man. But I think what they need to do, they need to start Staub. I think this is the way to go. There's plenty of 3-star, because again, Staub was a 3-star recruit. coming out of high school in California. He's under, and there's plenty of 3 stars that have been under recruited. They turn into something special, right? I'm gonna reel off a couple here for you guys that I've known. And again, I think it's just good for everybody to hear. But you have Baker Mayfield, Johnny Manziel, Marcus Mariota, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow. The list goes on and on. These are the guys that were 3-star recruits under recruited, right? Ahead of 5 stars. There was a graphic I saw the other day. Was it the 23 class? It's like Malachi Nelson, Arch Manning, DeMontre. Oh man, I'm gonna bring that up on the show. I wish I would have put that graphic in there. But that 5 stars, those were the top, I think 6 or 7, and none of them are good. Malachi Nelson, I believe, is on his 4th or 5th team. Originally went to USC. I can't even keep track of where. I think it's Utah State, or I don't even know where he's at, but he transferred a lot and could not win starting jobs. And this is like at Boise, Nevada, Utah State. It is just, oh, here we go. We got it. So Arch Manning was one. Nico, man, I cannot say it. Our Tennessee friend who transferred to UCLA. Dante Moore at UCLA. Jackson Arnold at OU. And I don't even think Jackson's there anymore. And then Malachi Nelson. Those are your top 5. These recruiting stars, at the end of the day, and again, I don't mean this in any way. Again, I still think Julian Lewis, he is not one of those. So please hear what I'm saying, but they miss a lot, actually. There's 5-star quarterbacks, right? We're going to go into one this weekend with Connor Whitman from that was originally signed with Texas A&M. He was a 5-star recruit, all-world out of Texas, and all of these things. Yeah, no, that dude got benched at A&M. So we're going to go see one this weekend, right? On Friday, I should say. Short week. Watch him play. And again, I do hope he figures it out. Not Friday, but at some point, I am not rooting against these young men. But they're wrong. They're wrong. These recruiting websites are wrong a lot, actually. So, right, the rate is to hope to hit around 50%. But again, they do miss a lot. So I do believe Julian Lewis is the future. Now, with Ryan Staub, though, I mean, this kid came in, he balled out, changed plays, audibled, right, or said go run a go route. Like if that's moxie alone. Like that is what you want your quarterback doing. I mean, as a fan, as a coach, maybe not, but as a fan, man, go switch those plays. Go say, oh yeah, that's Sincere Brown, our 6'5" wide receiver who runs a 4.3, 4.4. No one on Delaware can keep up with him. There's not a lot of people in the country that can keep up with him one-on-one, right? I'm going to go and say no one in the country can keep up with him or guard him one-on-one when he's running a streak. 9 route, go route, whatever you want to call it. Again, if this is what needs to happen moving forward is Ryan Staub needs to start. Julian Lewis needs to continue to play, develop. But this is I think we've hit that point in the season now. This is where we're at. Ryan Staub, best of luck the rest of the way. We are all behind you at this point. Go win a Heisman. Just kidding. Go win the Big 12. Go take this thing. And again, let's say he balls out. He wins the starting job going into next year. He is the starter moving forward. Like, man, like that'd be fantastic. Again, a lot of people forget Shador was a 3-star as well. So I mean, there is case after case after case, right? Like a lot of some people will say this and be like, oh well, that's the exception, not the rule. No. This is not one of those cases. These 3-star quarterbacks turn into a lot. So I'm excited to see Ryan Staub this weekend. That dude was letting it fly, letting it rip. I am really excited to watch Friday night's game. So again, Ryan Staub should start. Julian should be given some opportunities to develop and to learn under Ryan Staub. Staub, man, the whole locker room was juiced for him, was pumped, was amped for him. Man, I'm ready for it. Sign me up. I think you're the only one who makes sense, and I totally agree with you. Staub is him, and there is no time. We have to ride Staub until we can't take it anymore. Yeah, because again, you play Julian. Let's think about this in a couple weeks. Like, let's just say this is kind of who we are moving forward, right? So 2 games in, right? And you could say up till 6 quarters. 6 quarters of football, just about 6 quarters. They've played 2 good quarters of explosive football, and that's been under Staub. But 4 out of the 6, Sorry, what is it? 6 out of the 8. Sorry, 6 out of the 8 quarters right now. This is kind of who we are, right? Until proven otherwise. And I'll just say, if this is who Colorado is, right? Let's stop play. Let's see what happens, and then if he isn't the answer, and again, as much you put Julian in against BYU. BYU is going to come after you. You do not want to wreck Julian Lewis's confidence going ahead. With BYU coming to town. BYU is a well-coached team. They are going to get after whomever the quarterback is. They have to be ready. That would be a bad situation to play Julian Lewis in. Maybe next week, not against Wyoming. No, maybe Julian should get a good fair of reps there. But you also have to consider, though, let's say Ryan Staub balls out again. And again, what you do have to remember with Ryan Staub, though, is he is a sophomore, redshirt sophomore, right? He is going to make mistakes. Okay, so let's not just sit there. Again, we have been spoiled these last 2 years with Shedeur Sanders, right? Like, hopefully that has come up, right? It makes you even miss him more. But Ryan Staub, he's going to make some mistakes, and we're going to have to roll with it. He's going into a hostile environment this Friday at Houston. And again, we do go in. I don't know if anybody's checked. I think I saw it yesterday. There was at one point up to 6-point dogs. I think it got back down to 3.5 today. Again, I'm not a betting person, but just something that I like to monitor. But I do think, yeah, again, let's get Chad. Let's see. Chad has a good point here in the chat. I could back Juju getting reps if the score allows. Absolutely. Like, I absolutely think that's the case. Or, you're up 10-0 like we were this past weekend. Let him get in there. Let him get kind of in a rhythm and see where they're at, And again, but I would not change the whole entire play calling because Julian Lewis is in there. They did not let him rip. I do think they need to let it rip, and he's going to make mistakes too. But I do think Ryan Staub should be the guy moving forward, should be getting 90-95% of the snaps. We'll see what happens this weekend, but I think it's time to make a decision. Let's roll. He's the one who Ryan Staub knows the offense the best. He's been there for 2 years. 3 years. What am I thinking? So his third season there in Colorado. So this is redshirt. So this is his third season in Colorado. He knows the offense. He learned under Shedeur. And again, do not put your 17-year-old freshman in a situation to where you now have broken all of his confidence. One that I always look at who had all the talent in the world was David Carr, right? He goes to Houston. They couldn't protect for him. All. And that dude just struggled completely. Always had happy feet. Always thought he was going to get hit in the pocket. We do not want that for Julian Lewis. He needs to develop, and that's okay. That perfectly fine. Let him develop under Staub. But again, if you have a quarterback that is like Staub, goes in, lights it up, and we're winning a Big 12 title, I mean, that changes the whole outlook, right? That changes the outlook for Julian Lewis. It changes a lot of things. Again, we're jumping the gun here, but it is a lot to think about, right? I like this one. Cepho. So Cepho Lupao was a 4 or 5. I can't remember, but this is way more exciting than it was all those years ago. Yeah, he was a 4-star out of Washington, I believe. I think somewhere out of Bellevue, Washington. He was out of Washington, but he was I like Cepho. I thought he was making throws, moving the ball, getting everyone involved. I was a big Cepho fan, so I really did enjoy his time at CU. So, yeah, he could be. I think we're talking about Staub here. Oh, yeah, he could be the key to trying the fairy tale magic of the last 2 years to now. I can get behind that. Yeah, he really could be. Let's just keep it rolling. And I mean, 10-0, again, I just said that, but 10-0, going back on that, I wouldn't put Julian Lewis in. If that is the case, 10-0, man, let him pour it on. Let the man work. Let the man eat. Go out, sling it around, get that running game going. Let Staub audible. Let him do his thing. So I would say, it's in your court, Staub. I think, I could say, on S2S, Colorado Buffaloes Live, we support you 110%. You got it this weekend. I'm excited for the Staub era, which I did not think I was going to say. There was a couple throws there, and Dion did say something, though. Dion said something so cool. There was a thing, maybe it was at the end of the summer, mid-camp. Someone asked him about, maybe it was Big 12 Media Day. Somebody said to him, and named Caden Salter and Julian Lewis. And he said, well, don't forget about Staub. And I remember thinking that he goes into the game, and then afterward, after the pregame shows or postgame show, he was talking about it like again about. So I was like, oh, I forgot he said that. And then he was told Friday, the day before the game, that he was gonna be getting some burn. I was like, oh yeah, he did say it. And so that kind of jogged my memory a little bit. I'll tweet that out. I'm gonna go find that. Check out my social later, 303_Manny, but I'm gonna tweet that out. But Prime did say this during the offseason. I want to say it was during summer camp, but he said, don't forget about Staub. I think it's Stabby. Don't forget about Stabby, like he calls him. So, yeah, I'm excited for this. I'm ready for it. Let's let Staub do his thing. And again, I do believe moving forward, Staub should be the starter. He should be getting 90-95% of the reps. Julian needs to continue to develop. Julian needs to learn under Staub. And I do think the odd man out as of right now is Caden Salter. There's been a lot of mistakes there, a lot of things to clean up, a lot left on the field. And again, I do hope, my hope is that Caden figures it out. My hope is that he can become the best football player he can, really pick some things up in this system. But again, at the end of the day, right now, right, it's a what have you done for me lately business, and again, it's here's where we're at with it. Yeah, Staub for president. Absolutely. Yep. That's from, yep. Voice of College, Colorado, the voice of college football. Yep. That's us. So, yep. We want him. We vote for him today. But we'll continue monitoring this. We'll continue watching it as the week develops. But yeah, he's earned every single right to be the starter. And again, like I said, we support him. Let's talk about, if you have questions, go ahead and put them in the chat. But I don't know, last week felt it was great having the, field goals and feathers on our friends from Delaware. I'm not going to leak out who we are having on the show this week. It will be on Wednesday to get a preview with the University of Houston football team. We're not going to say who it is. I don't know. It just, and again, I think it was 3 different stops they had, including our show here. But I'm not going to leak it, but I have a great show planned for Wednesday. Myself and our friend from the University of Houston, we're going to record tomorrow because I believe he has something going on Wednesday. It's a super busy schedule. I think he does a bunch of different podcasts, does all kinds of different, just super busy guy. But we're going to have him on. Him and I are going to go through a whole interview and kind of the same exact thing like we did with Bryce over at Delaware. So we'll have him on. Him and I will record tomorrow. We'll have it on the show on Wednesday. Be ready for that. And again, like I talked about, every Wednesday, I'm going to try my best on Wednesdays to come in and have a guest from the other program, another team that covers the visiting team or the opponent, I should say, that week. So be on the lookout for that. But I think we found our quarterback. So just to end with that, really excited to where they're going to go. Make sure, as always, to follow 303_Manny on IG, Manny_303. Again, make sure you join us on Wednesday, 6 p.m. Mountain Time. And again, if you can donate, contribute to the show, be much appreciated. Venmo is at Manny S2S. Any little bit helps. But again, if you can. Again, I want to thank every single one of you for joining us on the show tonight. Appreciate every single one of you. Like we always say, there's no show without you guys. Hopeful to build this community up. We're going to continue grinding. We're going to continue going. We're not done yet. We just got started. We're just scratching the surface. So till Wednesday, we end like Heisman Trophy winner Travis Hunter. Skull Buffs, baby. All right, guys, have a good rest of your day. Good Tuesday.